How's it going, guys? Welcome to Gabe's Reef. And I don't know what's going on with that clownfish. Today I'm just going to be giving you a quick update of the tank after I changed the water the other day. It's been a couple days since I changed the water. Didn't really have time, but today, since all the due to all the ice and everything, I'm off work, so I figured it's the perfect time to kind of show you guys what it looks like. It's not spotless. It still needs work. I knew I wasn't going to be able to get it all with one water change, but the next one should have it pretty darn clean. One of the clownfish is still kind of trying to host that anemone. He's like rubbing on it. The other one kind of hangs out by it, but isn't really trying to get in it for some reason. I don't know why. He is the bigger one. She might be a she eventually, but he is the bigger one of the two, is the one that's not trying to get in it. It is in an awkward place as far as an anemone goes. Like, I could see why maybe you wouldn't want to get in it because it isn't as big and it's kind of in a weird place on the rocks. I'm hoping it moves or gets bigger to make it easier for them. Look at this guy. He's trying to say hi. There's my Scooter Blenny Dragonette. Say hi. He's so cute. They've been eating tiger pods. I think I seen him eating some of the shrimp as well, which would be amazing. I don't know. I don't think they train their dragonettes at that pet store I got them from to eat shrimp. A lot of pet stores do. Make sure you ask. That'll save you a lot of time and trouble. So I'm just looking around the tank. Everything seems to be doing okay. This is like a quick update. Plus, I want to show you some of the equipment I got recently. My green star polyps are doing okay. Those two spots always been bare. Looks like there's something trying to grow there. Maybe they'll, I don't know, heal or grow new polyps. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly. But as far as the leather tree goes, it looks pretty good. The candies, some of them look better than others, but they're doing okay. I don't know. You know, as long as I see the polyps are open, it seems to be doing okay. Right now, they're closed. They do eventually open. The lights came on not that long ago. The mushroom seems to be doing good. The other mushrooms on this far side looks pretty good. This anemone right here does okay. I'm terrible at saying its name, so I'm not even gonna bother. Maybe I'll write it down in the description below. And then this softie right here is doing pretty good. Everyone knows the story about how he was closed up when he fell and I wasn't sure which way he's facing. I'm gonna eventually fix that, but for now I'm just gonna let him grow and do okay for a little while. And then, you know, I'll move him and I'm sure it'll aggravate him. There's one of my hermits, this guy right here. There are some empty shells around here, which is a good thing. Don't have to fight over the shells. There's one right here. I don't know if it's a hermit or a slug. Can't really tell. And then this one is my free coral I got with the rock. Where is it at? Sorry. I'm trying to zoom in. There it is, right here. So it looks like some kind of, I don't know if it's a zoanthians or what, but it's a small little coral. I'm hoping, you know, it grows and multiplies. That'll be nice to take up that little real estate right here because it is on a steep little grade. So it's kind of hard to put corals there. You know, I am gonna switch from this putty right here to some kind of gel. This isn't bad for certain applications, but honestly, I used a little much because I never, you know, puttied any or stuck any corals to the rocks. So I kind of used a lot. Doesn't look too good. Eventually, I'm gonna clean that up and get some kind of gel and reglue everything and make sure that they're in the best possible position. See how they're doing in those positions and go from there. I cleaned the power head because it sounded a little rough, but I cleaned it and it's flowing beautifully and it's nice. The temperature thing I did not clean. I should have. I clearly see it's about 77 degrees or so. This algae here in this corner I did not get, and some down in that corner, like underneath the rocks, somewhere over there I did not get, and then a little bit like in a tight corners I was not able to get, but most of it out here I got, and a lot of it on the rocks I brushed the best I could. Honestly, it was just so much algae on the glass and everywhere. I got a lot. If you were to look in that bucket, I should have took a picture for you guys. It was a lot of waste in there. It was really brownish kind of color, so I'm glad that I got rid of that. What else? So, you know, I'm glad that's done. And the tank actually looks really decent. There's a damsel kind of hiding in the rocks. He loves going in between those rocks. The bandit, as we talked about before, is molted, so that means he's eating and growing. I have not seen the horseshoe crab at all. I don't know where he's at. I see the gravel kind of moved. You can tell it's been moved in certain areas, so I'm sure he's still in there. His dorsal fin is really small. I'm hoping that's a female. I don't think they'll pair up being two different breeds. I don't think they will. I'm pretty sure that one's a male. I'm not sure. If someone could comment below and tell me which is a female and which is a male, I'll try to get better shots later on. And, you know, when they have their dorsal fins open, and let me know if they're males or females. That looks kind of large. I think that one's a male. I don't know about him. He might be a male or female. Not sure about that yet. This hermit crab has like the biggest shell ever. It's hilarious. But, I mean, as long as he wears it, you know. What is going on? Or no, this other hermit crab's trying to change shells, I think, as it's going on. Not sure, but let's see what else. Looking at the coloration of the rock, some of it's starting to get cultured. I knew I added a piece that had the purple and all the beautiful colors on it. It's starting to culture some of the other rocks. You kind of see it. You know, you can kind of see the culturing happening on the other rocks. So that's good. Some of it's that red. I don't know if that's the bad kind of algae. I forget what it's called. Not sure exactly. There's the hermit with the biggest shell. See him? He has, I mean, I'm not even really that zoomed in. Like, that's a huge shell for that little guy. He might be bigger than you think. But it looks like someone's trying to switch shells, which would be great. We found another one or fighting over it. I don't know. But I'm going to let them be. What else? There's a slug somewhere around here. He's got a decent sized shell. Unfortunately, I did lose a slug, or possibly two. I've only seen one lately. I know I lost one for sure. Unfortunately, the explorer, the guy was all the way by that magnet. He must have got higher than that. He must have got on this thing, and when I had it up cleaning or doing something, he probably fell off, or, you know, went through one of the holes back there. There's two big holes back there, and I found him behind the tank on the carpet, you know, and I just felt so bad for the guy. But so he's gone, so I'm down to two. I've only seen one, so I don't know if the other one is hiding or what's going on exactly, but I've only seen one. So I'd like to know what that is right there. If that's a clam or a shell or what. A little white thing right there. Not sure what that is. But looks like there's been a lot of life on these rocks where he had them at before. So we'll see what comes about of it. It did help my tank cycle faster. But, you know, that's what it's looking like right now. Everyone seems to be happy and active. So let's go into some of the new products. I did not actually buy this. This is a thermal gun that basically detects temperature. So what I like to do with this to make sure my thermometer isn't off, don't point at any creatures like your corals or anything like that. It's 77.3 there. 76.6 there as it gets further away from the heater. 77.3. And this is saying it's like 77-ish. So it's pretty darn 76-ish. So it's pretty darn close. Maybe a degree or two difference, which is acceptable being, you know, a old school thermometer. It's not like a digital one or anything like that. Okay, he is a hermit there. Kind of see the little guy's feet and stuff. Yep. Little hermit. Those shells below hopefully will switch. I think this guy over here is switching shells, which is nothing wrong with that. What else? Let's see. And I think that's it for livestock. Sorry I got distracted there. So this was, I did buy this. This is about 10 to 14 bucks, depending which one you get, what price range, you know, what you want. This works well. I actually bought this for my nitros because you need to tune correctly, you have to be a certain temperature. If you're running too hot, you'll burn your head up. If you're not warm enough, you can't tune it correctly. So that's important for nitros, but I cleaned it really well. I'm going to use it for my fish tank, being that it's basically almost winter. I might still use it for the other hobby as well. Just be, a little careful not to get it dirty and grease and oil and stuff and nitro. And then jumping to the product I had before, this did work well. The only issue that does have attachments that goes on the front of here. But when I was sucking up some gravel, not gravel, when I was siphoning the gravel and kind of cleaning it, a lot of it got in here and got stuck, and this pump wasn't working right, wasn't coming out right. So I went ahead and detached it. I could always re-glue it, because I have the little plastic ring that goes around it as well, and everything I need to put it back on. But maybe I'll get something, cut some of that out, make it bigger, the hole's bigger or something, I don't know. But it got clogged up, so I had to take it off, suck on it the old-fashioned way. It did work. It got most of the algae out of there, because there was a lot on the ground right there, a lot. So unfortunately, it was $10, but it just sucked that it got clogged up. If you had some finer sand, you probably would be golden. But unfortunately, I have a little bit more coarse sand, and it didn't work too well. So jumping to this test right here I ordered, this took longer to, this is not my only complaint about it so far. It took a lot longer. It told me it'd be here Monday. It arrived Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. So I was not happy about that, but luckily everything came in it like it said it would. It worked well. It's a lot of contents in here, because there's a lot to do to run this test. Get out of there. There we go. So I'm going to show you more in detail later on how to do the test. They give you the container where you keep everything in. You get the chemical, you add 1 drop at a 1.1 at a time. You get the powder, you have to put 1 tiny little scoop of it in there. This also serves as a measuring / mixing stick. These are the drops you have to put in there to activate it, make it correct. Here's a syringe that you draw up the water, seawater, the right amount has to be in that container, since there's no numbers or nothing on that. So you have to draw this up correctly with no air bubbles. And then this is how you add the 0.01 or 0.10. Read the instructions. You have to pop this cap on. That's easy to do. Make sure there's no air in there, and you just put it in there. You do a little, 0.1 at a time until you figure out how many drops you put in there, and that'll give you your test. It actually has really specific and easy to read instructions right here. See, it shows you draw up the 2 milliliters of water, then you add 5 drops of that, then you mix it really well with 1 scoop of that tiny red spoon. Mix it up really well for 10 seconds. There's the color you should have, or purplish color you should have. Then you do 0.0 millimeter of the MG-3. You mix it for 2 seconds, and then you do 1 milliliter at a time until the color changes. And how many drops is mathematically is how you figure this out. So if you do, 1, 2, 3, it just shows you the amount of drops all the way. You should be at 1350 is where you should be at. That is a good number for magnesium. It tells you written as well exactly the instructions. They're really pretty easy to follow. So that's nice. I'm going to do a video with you guys doing the test. I just tested it a couple days ago. There's only 50 tests, so I don't want to just test randomly. Next time I do the test, I'll do the video for you guys. And then the next newest product is the scraper. I like the handle. It's pretty well. It's long enough. It's perfect for this tank. As you can see, it'll go all the way to the bottom. And then your hand still is out of the water, which I love. So that's really nice. And then the attachments, I think, are pretty cool. They work well because I tried them. If I missed a couple spots, I was kind of rushing, trying to get it done. It was getting late in the day because the scraper didn't come till late. And I wanted this before I started changing my water. I already had it mixed up. So the first attachment, you just line it up, push, and it clips in nice and tight. You cannot take that off unless you push this button right here. What I like about this brush, you can brush this way. I like you can turn it this way and this way. That's nice. Brush, you need to get in the corner, turn it this way. See the shape of that? That fits right down in this corner really well. On the inside, obviously, you get that corner pretty well. That's really, really nice. Pop it off. See, I have the tree, but I haven't decorated it yet. I just wanted to start fluffing. I'm really particular about the fluff, and that takes me a little while to fluff it all nicely. And then we're going to see what ornaments we have and then get some more. I love Christmas tree, so I don't mind putting it up a little earlier. Push that button. It's kind of hard to do one-handed. That's what's rough. Sorry, I might have to use both hands here for a minute. Push, pull. Yep, there we go. What I like about it, it's nice and snug. It works well. Then the next attachment is this gravel rake slash scooper thing. What's nice is you can rake the gravel. You kind of siphon and get some stuff out of the gravel, which is nice. It's a really nice scoop. You could put it, you know, you can rake it. You kind of scoop up, rake it, kind of watch the gravel fall as you scoop out whatever you need. That's really nice. It helps. It's nice to rake the gravel because you kind of oxidize it, like like get air in it. It's, been laying a certain way. I like to stir it up and rake it. Plus, it helps when you're vacuuming. Once you stir it up, you get that stuff out of there. So there's that. And then the scraper, which I needed the most. Pop this on, press it. Be careful, it is sharp. Bam. Locks on nice and tight. It is metal. That's a scraper. It's not razor sharp, but it is sharp enough to clean the tank. Be careful, you can't scratch it, especially around where it's rounded like that. Kind of try to stay away from that if you can. It worked well. Those spots that you see is because I was kind of rushing, plus some of it came back. It's been a few days since I changed the water, so some of it kind of came back. You got to just kind of watch that. Push this button and pull. It is hard to do one-handed, but it works well. So that's so far with the new products. What else? Let's see. I think that's as far as the new products go. I just kind of keep the magnesium right here in front of it. As far as my stuff for these right here, this one right here is only for dosing the, I know I could tell by the size difference. This one right here is only for dosing the roids right here. And then the phytoplankton that's in my refrigerator. Put it right back here. This one right here is only for adding water and water testing tubes. This will not see any chemicals or treatments or anything. Suck up the water. I fill up those little, those little test tubes. I fill them up with the water they need. So I put this here. And then this one down here, that's why I keep it down here, is the one I use for dosing chemicals such as the calcium, alkalinity, magnesium. Iodine has its own dripper. The Lagoon has its own dripper. So I kind of use everything. I use this for double duty, blowing off the rocks and feeding the shrimp. Here's my little measuring cup, double duty. Measure the salt and put shrimp and let it melt in there. I mean, everything kind of has its purposes. I am going to get a notebook. Make sure you get a notebook and keep track of everything you dose, where it's at, what it needs to be at, Monday through Friday, dates, everything. That makes a world of difference. You can figure out exactly what your tank is consuming. You can figure out everything, plus what you need to add, what you're going to be running out of first. I mean, it just makes a world of difference. Whoops. When you do that. Now, these tests are expensive individually. This one was $18. It's not to mention the other tests. So this hobby is expensive. I know there's videos of people showing you shortcuts and this and that, but you need a lot of this stuff if you're going to go with the stony coral, soft corals. You don't need a dose. I mean, it just depends on your tank, what you have in there. I know some people that have just corals and like one skunk fish or some kind of small fish, like a little skunk danzel or something, has barely no bile load. They don't even have a filter on it. It just depends on what your needs and what you have and stuff like that. I mean, it can just be so different for each tank. Certain things that work for me might not work for you. Everybody, I'm not going to claim to be a professional. Even the people that have been doing shows for a long time and they're claiming to be professionals, their theories might not apply to your tank. Your tank might be different. You might have different filtering. You might have different kinds of fish that react a certain way. You might have different corals that have different needs. I mean, it's just so, there are basic guidelines and rules you follow, and then you adjust it to make it work for your tank is what I'm doing. So I'm not a professional. I'm not going to claim to be one. Everything I'm going to say is what works for my tank and might not work for yours. This is kind of a disclaimer, basically. So most of the facts out there are pretty decent. Double check them. Look at their tank. See what their tank looks like. You could tell I'm an amateur, honestly. I mean, I'm not saying it's a professional tank. You could tell I just got into the hobby, but everything is live. I've had no losses. And everything seems to be doing good, and they're interested in an enemy. Didn't have to force them with a net. I just let everything do well and just took care of it the best of my ability and knowledge. The main thing is watch videos. That's how I learned about all this stuff, is YouTube. There's books out there that are super great. Tells you needs for each creature you may have, each plant, or each coral, each fish, everything. There's invertebrates. There's books out there for everything, and they're much more detailed than you probably find on some of the internet stuff. You know, it just depends on what your needs are. I'm just gonna basically run this setup in tank. What I have in there, I'm getting one more coral that's gonna go on the top of there. And that's pretty much it for a while, to let everything kind of grow, mature, see how everything's doing. Today is Thursday. It's almost like I think it's like the 7-week mark or something like that. I'm probably going to get another bottle of Tigger Pods due to it. I have 2 Dragonets now. And honestly, I've so far put 4 bottles in there, and I don't see them that much with the light at night like they tell you to do. I don't know if they're hiding in a rockwork, which there's plenty of hiding spots, which is really nice. Hopefully they reproduce some of the Tigger Pods. You know, turn off your pumps and then add it at night when they're sleeping and not as active, so don't eat them all. You want a lot of them to get into the rockwork and basically reproduce and have, you know, a steady supply of Tigger Pods. I was hoping to find a local farm or something. I apologize, I'm moving around a lot. Here, I'll kind of sit down and put my elbow up, and then hopefully it keeps it from moving so much. I'm looking for a local Tigger farmer that just sells it better, because I buy a bottle for like $26, and there's anywhere from 200 to 1,700 in there. There's no true count, and there's no way of telling how old they are, you know, if they're under their life cycle, if they're dead. You know, I just would rather go to a farmer, buy a decent amount, and then just add it to my tank, you know, once every couple weeks or a week, or depending on what my needs are. I just looking for something like that. I wouldn't mind finding a local forum or a local blog or something where they talk about frags, maybe trade. That'd be amazing. Nothing in mine is mature enough to frag or even come close to it, but some of it might be. But you know, I just want to let them grow and get healthy first, get my levels perfect. I am going to get ready to dose for calcium. Once I check it, of course. Don't dose anything if you don't have a test for it. I can't emphasize that enough. I mean, just basics like that. You know, overfeeding is pretty common. You know, you would think they're hungry. You know, just overfeeding is kind of common. When I feed about every day or every other day, I take the main filter that catches most of that stuff off, and I rinse it off, get all that food off there. Any flakes or anything, get it off there. That way it doesn't have a chance to rot and decompose and add more, you know, nitrite and everything else in there, and then eventually turns into nitrates. So, you know, I just try to prevent, you know, a lot of the stuff in there, you know, from rotting and basically polluting the tank. So the skimmer is important. A lot of people don't like, some people don't do skimmers. I highly recommend a skimmer. Lately, I wish I emptied it in the last video and it messed up. The skimmer, what it had in there for just a day's worth of skimming, you would not believe the yellow-brown contaminants. You can see them clearly in that container. And that's just a day. And I empty it out every day. At some point in the day, I empty it out, and it's just full of crap. So all that would be in my tank. My water is crystal clear. Yes, there's some algae spots here and there, but the water itself is crystal clear. It's beautiful. I love it, you know. And I just got done rinsing out the filter right before I shot this video, so there might have been some contaminants floating around until it filters again. So that's after me rinsing the filter. So, you know, it could probably look even better than that. I am going to scrape this after I probably dose my calcium. I'm just going to do a quick scraping right there, and maybe that side as well, just because I don't want it to grow back. I'm going to try to cut it down all the time whenever I get a chance to. Obviously, one of the clownfish is bigger than the other, which is a plus. Always get 2 different sizes. That'll give them a better chance to pair up. They were really, really close, and they kind of got apart for a while where they just didn't swim together. Now they're close, then they're apart. One went towards the bubble, the other one, bubble anemone, the other one likes the power head. So, you know, I don't know what he's doing. He's going to the top. I don't know if he's hungry or looking for food or what. I don't know. He's acting kind of weird. There's the dragonet right on the power head. Silly fish. I think he was trying to find some Tigger Pods. I am going to purchase some today. Before you add them, make sure you let them get them to room temperature. Take the cap off. You know, you'll see them becoming more and more active as the bottle warms up. And then if you can, wait till night. If not, at least turn off your pumps and give them a chance to run and hide. What else? I think that's pretty much it for this video. I just want to do kind of a general update and outline of the tank. I need to really remove that magnet out of there. It just gets dirty sitting there. I'm going to probably clean it with a toothbrush and then put it underneath there and just take it out when I need it. Or just clean it and put it back, probably is what I'm going to do. Because it kind of like serves two purposes, because this does not fit in my aquarium, that little grabber. So I put that there and put the grabber on top, so it kind of serves its purpose, kind of out of the way, and I don't want it touching everything else because it is aquarium water and other stuff on it. You know, I'm trying to keep it as neat and clean as possible. I did use these two little twist ties to kind of organize them so they're not all over the place, and then they go into there. That's pretty neat. There's my modem in the background. Everything just works well. I'm grateful that I have not had a loss yet. I'm grateful that my anemones are eating and doing well. I'm grateful that my corals don't look too bad, you know, especially that one that fell a bunch of times right there. I thought he wasn't going to make it. He shriveled up so small all those times he fell. I couldn't get him to stick. So I'm definitely going to get the gel. I'm going to at least do him right away, and then maybe slowly kind of take that white stuff off the rest of it, and then glue them nicely to where you can't see, maybe a little bit better position, maybe a little bit further away from that rock so it's not touching it. Maybe get this one more this way towards the light, just kind of get them in a really good place for them. So the main thing is getting the calcium up today. Everything else is me testing well. Test regularly. You know, it's worth it in the long run. Catch something as soon as you can instead of waiting till it already does, you know, there's a lot of stuff up. And then, you know, you let one thing go, then you let another before you know your tank crashes. So just keep your eye on that. Keep testing. Be vigilant. Pay attention to your tank. Pay attention to the way things look. Take pictures if you have to as a record, you know. If you have room on a hard drive or something, take pictures and store them and then date them. And then that way you know what they look like as they grow, as they change, as they do good or bad, you know. It's just a lot to it, especially with the book. I know I have it on a piece of paper. I'm going to buy a book. I have a piece of paper down there. I'll write everything that I do when I dose the photoplankton, when I gave them, you know, reef roids, everything. So that way you're not overdosing, you're not giving them too much. You know, stuff like that. So Danzel's out. I mean, he's a cute guy. He's getting big. He's gotten a little bit bigger than when I got him. He's starting to look better, you know. The fish are both of them are getting bigger, especially that one clownfish is getting much bigger than him now, which is okay, I guess. You want two different sizes. The Blenny seems to be doing okay, the Scooter Blenny. Everybody seems to be okay. No one's messing with each other, so I'm happy. The Bandit is a little shrimp thief. He likes to steal food out of an enemy's mouth. I gotta watch him when I feed my enemy, particularly the bubble one. He runs up and steals the food literally out of its mouth. I was kind of upset about that, so I might wait a day, let him kind of hang out, and then I'll feed just that particular bubble enemy. I'm gonna try to start to feed maybe once every 3 days for the anemones. Some people feed once a week. Some people feed every other day. It just depends, I guess, what their needs are. As small as they are, I think one every 3 days is a good number. And I think that's it. I like to go on a lot. What's neat about this, I don't know if I mentioned it before, there's fans in here, and they seem like they're always on. So you can feel them drawing the air, cooling the lights, and then, I don't know if that's the intake or that's the exhaust. I kind of feel air blowing. But either way, the air in this lid gets cycled and circulated. There's, you know, it gets rid of the gases. The rippling helps the gases exchange. So everything's working well. I really, really like this BioCube Coral Life 32-gallon tank. Everybody says this is friendly. No, it's not. If you build it right and tighten everything up, you put that tank on there, this does not rock or move. So if you build it well, take your time, it works just fine, you know. It looks good. It matches is what I like, you know. It looks like one piece. So that looks really cool. But anyways, any questions, any comments, anything, leave them below. Don't forget to subscribe, please. I would really appreciate that. If you're into nitros and other hobbies like airplanes, drones, boats, trucks, stuff like that, crawling, heavy equipment, or radio-controlled equipment, I have another channel called RC Cincy, RC, and then Cincy, C-I-N-C-Y. It's really simple, and then that's pretty much it. if you're into this, hey, stick with it. No one's going to be upset. And that's pretty much it. Remember, family-friendly comments, please, and then I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.